You ever have one of those mornings where you just know something's about to mess with your peace? That was me standing in my kitchen with the sun barely up sipping coffee, thinking the only thing on my to-do list was to finish a work call and maybe figure out where I left my passport before flying out to Vancouver in 2 days. Turns out the real adventure was waiting in my mailbox, a thick manila envelope, no postage, no stamp, just a fat HOA logo staring at me like it belonged there. Saguaro Pines Estate HOA. And just like that, my day and my whole idea of private property got flipped upside down. I open the letter and it reads like some bizarre customer service request. For your safety, please leave both your front and back door keys at the HOA office so we can monitor your home during your absence. Like it's the most normal thing in the world to hand your house keys over to strangers. Strangers I don't even technically belong to. My property predates their subdivision. I've got the deed, the survey, the receipts. My place borders their development, sure, but I'm not part of their little club and everybody knows it. But see, Karen McNaughton, the self-appointed queen of Saguaro Pines, she's got this reputation for reaching over the line, pulling other people's yards into her jurisdiction like she's manifesting destiny with a clipboard. You know what I mean? I figured if I ignored her, she'd get bored. So I typed up a polite, not so subtle, no thanks attached copies of my property records and hand-delivered it to their office just so nobody could say they missed it. In my note, I made it clear I don't belong to the HOA. You're not getting my keys, and any more contact should go through my attorney. Done and done right. That night, I tossed the story up on the local forum, just a bunch of IT freelancers and folks who like mountain air more than HOA politics. HOA wants keys from non-members. Normal now. Within an hour, replies started pouring in. Some folks were laughing, others said to watch my back. Apparently, Karen had her loyalists, and she wasn't known for letting things go. Next day, I'm working from the patio, still thinking about that letter, when two guys I've never seen before show up at the end of my drive, matching polo shirts, Saguaro Pines logo, cheap sunglasses. One's filming my front door with his phone. The other is walking the gate, eyeballing my mailbox, the porch light, the security cams. I call out, "Can I help you, gentlemen?" They hit me with routine HOA documentation, sir, nothing to worry about. I tell them, "This isn't your property. I already talked to your president." They just keep filming totally unfazed like they're the law now. I ask them to leave calm, but not asking twice. They turn and walk off like it's no big deal, drive back toward the neighborhood with their magnet logo on the truck. That night, I text my brother Miles. He's an attorney in Phoenix and has seen more HOA horror shows than he can count. He tells me, "Don't leave your place unattended. They're testing the fence." That phrase stuck with me. Testing the fence. Like coyotes poking for weaknesses. Still, I had every angle covered. Motion sensors, cameras, external monitoring backups. I triple-checked everything before I left for the airport at dawn. Couldn't shake the feeling, though. You know that itch between your shoulders like someone's watching? By the time my plane landed in Vancouver, I was half expecting a SWAT team update on my phone. First night, nothing. Second day, all quiet. I started thinking maybe I'd gotten through to Karen after all. Nope. Sunday morning 6, missed alerts from my security company, a voicemail from the county sheriff. "Mr. Rhodes, this is Deputy Clean with Pima County. We received a welfare check request from the HOA about animal endangerment, had to make entry after not seeing any signs of life." Animal endangerment. I don't even own a goldfish, let alone a dog or cat. I log into my security feed and see the nightmare play out. 3 people with flashlights creeping around the side, working the back lock. Next feed, rear door swings open. 2 men stroll into my kitchen like they're clocking in. One drags a duffel bag upstairs, the other sits in my living room scrolling his phone. They're talking about Karen, how they're just supposed to be here overnight. I'm boiling, call the sheriff right then. They say their officers were told by the HOA that the homeowner, me, had approved temporary access. I tell them I've got video timestamps, lock logs, straight up evidence of a break-in. Next flight back to Arizona. I go straight to Miles' office. He barely says a word, just watches the video, prints out every frame, every log, every note. You're walking in there with evidence. If they blink, you shove this in their face. When I get home, it's midnight. My gate's unlocked. Motion lights on and the back door's got a brand new lock. Light on upstairs. I call 911 from my driveway. Keep my hands visible. Wait for the squad cars. Cops show up. I hand over my ID, my paperwork, my security footage. Inside, two men, both in HOA shirts, look at me like I'm the intruder. One actually asks, "Is this really necessary?" Cop says, "You're lucky you didn't get shot." Turns out neither guy can produce a permit, a contract, nothing. Just Karen said it was okay. One's got a rap sheet for trespassing and a suspended security license. Both get cited, handed no trespass orders, and escorted off. Should have felt like a win. It didn't. Inside the house is weirdly lived-in burger wrapper in the trash. Half a soda on my bookshelf, my razor wet in the bathroom. There's an envelope on the counter, HOA letterhead, handwritten note, temporary custody assumed for security per HOA bylaws. Thank you for your cooperation. No name, just arrogance. By now, this isn't just an HOA story, it's a crime scene. In a duffel bag, I find folders labeled with addresses and dates my place, plus a bunch of others. Not security logs, but occupancy tracking, like a timeshare scheme. When the deputies see it, their eyes go wide. We'll need that for evidence. The next day, Miles and I are in front of Detective Rodriguez County Property Crimes. Sharp guy. He's flipping through the evidence, frowns when he sees the fake lawyer signature, Ethan Travers. Turns out Travers doesn't exist. He's a ghost attorney. The HOA board trots out to scare people into compliance. This whole operation's been faked from the jump. Later that night, I get a text from my neighbor Patricia, a photo of a flyer taped to every mailbox. There's a security cam pic of me confronting the intruders and a paragraph calling me a hostile actor, threatening community safety. Good neighbors share bad neighbors, threaten. Classic Karen. Petty but effective. By morning, I'm meeting with a local journalist. He takes one look at the files, the fake letters, the forum posts, and says, "This is a racket." The article drops online, redacts my name, but not Karen's, and everything explodes. Emails from neighbors pour in. Some have received similar letters from Travers. Others send drone footage of HOA volunteers trespassing on weekends. Then comes an anonymous tip, check your house history. Your address was listed on Airbnb last year. Owner T. McNaughton, Karen's husband. I look it up, sure enough. There's my living room on Airbnb, staged to look generic, but with my furniture, my blanket. Miles is livid. We file new charges, wire fraud, real estate misrepresentation. Detective Rodriguez adds it to the criminal case. Old Walt from down the road stops by. He's got a rental agreement Karen asked him to sign last spring, something called Temporary Property Stewardship Authorization, giving the HOA emergency rights to use homes as short-term rentals. He never signed. But the language protective tenancy sounded like they just made it up. From there, the spiral picks up speed. A black SUV shows up. Guy with a camera starts snapping pics of my house. I'm with HA legal documenting non-cooperative behavior, he says. Next, another letter slides under my door, a compliance warning about my failure to maintain community relations, threatening forced mediation or caretaker oversight. This is harassment with legal stationery. Detective Rodriguez gets a warrant for the HOA office. Inside rental contracts, spreadsheets of payouts, logs of absentee owners, a calendar tracking which homes are booked for which weekends. The McNaughtons' names are everywhere. There's a legal affairs cabinet full of folders, most labeled with properties outside the HOA. This isn't a rogue HOA, it's a real estate scam hiding behind community rules. Word spreads fast. Some neighbors are outraged. Others back Karen. Suddenly, my powers cut meter box tampered with HOA sticker reading pending review. My fiber lines half clipped. Rodriguez tells me this is coordinated harassment. I double my cameras, reroute, power brace for the next hit. They file an anonymous CPS report claiming I have an endangered minor on the property. I don't have kids. CPS agent looks embarrassed, says I'm not the only one they've been sent to visit lately. Then comes a cease and desist letter from T. McNaughton J.D. No bar number, no firm, just legal-sounding threats. Miles laughs. They're panicking. Late one night, a kid drops a note in my mailbox. You should have just given them the keys. This could have been easy. Detective Rodriguez finds a stack of identical notes in the HOA office, some marked problem, escalate carefully. This is psychological warfare, not just fraud. And it's not just Karen anymore. She's got followers, true believers willing to target anyone who pushes back. Finally, the DA moves. The first arrest warrant goes out to Thomas McNaughton. I watch from a distance as they cuff him outside the HOA office. No drama, just quiet justice. News spreads, and for the first time, Karen's grip slips. Board members, neighbors, even former supporters start speaking up. One admits Karen registered her home without permission. Another confesses to being bullied into silence. The dam breaks. The next day, they arrest Karen right in the middle of an emergency HOA meeting. Video shows her freezing as officers step in, reading off a list of charges: conspiracy, fraud, unlawful occupancy, identity fabrication, obstruction. Her followers look stunned. This is what the end of an empire looks like. Miles files a civil suit, $1.2 million motion to dissolve the HOA. The vote passes over 70%. Want the HOA gone. The court agrees. Karen and Thomas lose everything. Civil damages are paid out, money I mostly put right back into security. The old HOA office gets turned into an animal rescue. Miles starts an HOA abuse law practice. Turns out people were just waiting for one neighbor to stand up. A few months later, I get a handwritten note. You didn't bend? You didn't break? You reminded all of us. I frame it, hang it by the door. On my gate, there's a new sign, private property. No HOA, no exceptions. Haven't had a single unwanted visitor since. And yeah, I sleep easy now. So, what do you think? Was I in the right to push back, or did I just fan the flames? Would you have handed over your keys? Drop your thoughts below. I want to hear how you'd handle it. And hey, if you got a story about HOA madness, don't be shy. Let's keep this conversation going.